All right, good evening, YouTube. So I started having a trouble with my XR. The trouble I started having was unstable arc, and I couldn't really figure out what was going on. And it was weird because there was a couple things that were new that kind of threw me for a loop. First thing that was new was it was my first ever sheet of 10 gauge material that I've ever cut. Now, I've cut 18 gauge, 16 gauge, 12 gauge, 11 gauge, 7 gauge, quarter inch, 3/8, half inch, 5/8 plate. And I've never had any issue jumping between plates other than fine tuning settings. For whatever reason, I was running 10 gauge on my 11 gauge settings, and it was pretty good. So I went to fine tune it, and it just started running like crap. Then I thought, okay, maybe I need some consumables swapped out. So I swapped out consumables. Brand new set of consumables. Again, I kept getting this super, and you can even see here, unstable arc. Like it would cut, and then it would shut off. It would take forever to actually dig down in and actually pierce. Weird things were happening. Replaced the consumables, and then I had nothing. I could not get the torch to fire. If I tried to, run it through its tests, all that stuff, I could not get the torch to fire. So that was last night. Tonight, I figured maybe I had electromagnetic interference. So tonight, I brought the laptop out, and I ran fire control on the laptop, and I could get it to cut. Same thing. Cut quality, absolutely terrible. I did have my laptop or my computer mounted here. I shut it off, and it seemed to run better, but it still ran kind of like crap. So then, in the back of my mind, I just have this like weird nagging thing. Like, it's so weird that this sheet of 10 gauge sucks. So I put a 1/8 drop on there, ran a couple of test cuts, and it ran really good. Came back, tried to run another program on the 10 gauge with the 11 gauge program with I tried to cut a program with 11 gauge on 10 gauge, cut like crap. So I start to think maybe it's the ground, clean the ground up. I mean, I got it to run slightly better. We did get a pretty good drop in temperature here. So in the back of my mind, I'm kind of thinking maybe it has something to do with that. I don't really know who, what, where, when, why it would be doing that. But in the back of my mind, I thought maybe it had something to do with that. And I went and I drained my compressor tank, and it had a lot more water in it than I expected it to. So I kind of thought, all right, maybe there's just getting too much water in the system. I do have one of them little 3-stage air separators. I've ordered a new one. I had this weird idea. All right, maybe there's something to do with that. So I took it out, and it actually broke apart on me when I went to change the filters. So I have to order a new one. I cobbly-doed it back together just so I could keep trying to run. No air dryer, but other than my 4 downspouts. And again, it's same cut quality. So I'm really hoping it's just a help me out here, brain. I'm really hoping it's just a water issue. So we'll get another one coming. Luckily, I don't think I have to cut anything for the rest of this week, and even probably next week, which is good. And there might be a couple things I need to cut, but they're small pieces. And I reached out to a buddy of mine who has our old table, and to see if maybe I could get him to maybe cut some things out for us if we were in a pinch. But when I bought the table, I never liked this. I did not like that it was mounted on the table. I didn't like that it stuck out. Yeah, I don't like... I like that the table lines up with my 5x10 table, but I don't like that that sticks out, and I don't like that in the middle of my shop I have a freaking computer. Just don't like it, especially because this is where I do like all of our cutting and grinding. So I did not like that. So a while ago, it was the first thing I ever cut out on this table. I haven't got around to doing it because in my mind I was going to finish all the drywall first, and that just hasn't happened. But I cut out some bracketry to hold the computer in place. So I'll also order tonight a longer USB cable to get my, connect between the two. I think for now, if I do have to come out and run anything, I think I'm just going to run it off the laptop, because that seemed to give the best results. So I'm hoping... I read like a bunch of to me, and I'm not super smart with all this technical mumbo jumbo, but to me, I kept reading a lot of like issues with your ground clamp location, your computer location, and your control box location. Like there'd be this interference. And from what I understand, I think that's what I had going on here, or maybe even a combo of too much moisture and too much moisture and maybe some electromagnetic interference. So I'm hoping that kind of changes things. But now what I really don't like is the fact that I like having all of this out here in case like I can clean it, I can work on it if I need to. If anything goes wrong, I like having this on the chain trackage on the outside. So I don't really want to rotate the table around. But what I don't like is now my computer is going to be there, and here is going to be my control box. And I don't know, maybe it's a good thing. And I guess if I just get the long enough cable to reach from the control box, I can zip tie it along and have it come up here. It's golden. And I do really like having this thing mounted on the wall. And as you can see, if you can see, it was really, really simple. It's just mount holes. And then originally, I actually made this to put a laptop on. This is how terrible I am with electronics. I could not figure out how to get the touchscreen keyboard working. So for the first week, I went back and forth. This is embarrassing. Went back and forth with my desktop laptop, unplugging it, coming out here, running stuff, blowing it off, taking it inside, plugging it back in, whatever you need. And then I figured out it's like the super simplest thing to do on a computer touchscreen. I've never had one before, so seriously dumb. But now I welded this on anyways. I'm gonna put some gasket on it, and it would be a good place to put notes, because a lot of times if I'm running a week or 2 weeks worth of parts, I have a list of parts, and then I can X them off and do all that stuff. So I think I'm gonna like having that up on the wall. I'm gonna try and get a better Wi-Fi boost out here so that we could even stream stuff. Just while I'm out here, if I'm out here dinking and teetering and all that stuff, I can do that. But yeah, the other weird thing I have is, so these plugs on the back wall run on a different circuit than the plug on there and on the other wall. I don't know why. That's how they were wired when I got here. But they do. These are all plugged into the same circuit as the lights. They're all wired into the same circuit. So whenever I would run the computer on the Crossfire Pro, whenever I would run the computer off and have it plugged into any of these outlets, I would get an annoying amount, not the computer, the control box. I would get an annoying amount of like these lights would all burn out in like a month. It was so, I don't know, frequency, I'm guessing something to do with that. That was another super weird thing. Plugged it in that one, different circuit, never had a problem. So the computer's got to stay plugged into that one, which is fine. I need to actually scoot the table out about an inch, because when it is running, if I have to cut in like this corner, the chain hits the plugs and unplugs them, and then it unplugs the power button, and it's a big old mess. So I got to figure that out, and I know I can get some more flat plugs. I got to do that too. And like, we're insanely busy, so I don't know. I got to come out here and finish all this drywall and finish insulating it so it's bearable this winter. But one step in the right direction. I like this. I think it's going to be really nice. Might actually add another tier down here, and I might put the plasma cutter. Originally, I was going to mount it under the table. I actually just had it sitting on boards for the time being. But yeah, I'm going back and forth on what I want to do with that. So yeah, there was, even when I just disconnected that, there was a fair amount of water that came out. So anyways, that's just kind of, I'm going to shut this thing down. And look at this. This is such a nice height. And hopefully over here, there's no grinding. Really, not a lot of work gets done over here. It's usually where I like stack stuff and store stuff. So shouldn't have to worry about that, which is a good thing, because that thing would get caked in powder. Most of the welding happens over on this side. Most of the cutting and grinding happens over on this side. So that's all really, really good. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had on my brain. Was just trying to figure that thing out. So we've been painting the house. This time of year, winter's coming, right? And people have been doing outside projects. If they just ran out of time or whatever, we usually get called in to help finish them. This year's been crazy. So that's kind of taking up most time. I want to try and do a video about them tomorrow, because it is actually a really cool transition of the house. It was all wood siding, and we've primed it. Now we're getting ready to, we're sealing it all up tomorrow. Finishing primer, sealing it up tomorrow, and then Thursday we'll probably be slapping on our first coat of paint. So that is exciting. We got to get cracking on this smoker, because that was due this week. And because this gave me so much fritz, I'm like 2 days behind. So I got 3 days to build smoker. That's not really enough time. So we got to hustle on that one. But yeah, guys, subscribe if you haven't. Thank you, everyone who has joined and is watching and doing all that good stuff. You guys are the best. Hopefully tomorrow I'm going to be out here. I know grinding, prepping, and welding out that smoker, and yeah, we're gonna get that couple of things ordered, and yeah, hopefully all things good in the hood. So yeah, anyways, guys, until next time, remember, if you're not burning, you're not learning. Cheers.